Baiklah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We here will be presenting about Australian English in pronunciation, Class C. And here is me, and my name is Fadhillah Thirafi Prastowo. My number is 320240137.
My name is Tiara Nirmawati with number student A3 2000 to 4000
My name is Meiza Naya Lorenza, and my number student is 8320240059.
And my name is Zoltan Rafiffatin Susilo, and my student number is A320240135.
My name is Rachelia Yana Vita. My student number is A320240136.
Definition: Australian English is a regional dialect of English spoken in Australia, with its own distinct vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. It's the de facto national language of Australia and is spoken by most Australians, including those born in the country and those who immigrate at a young age. It is the de facto national language of Australia, though the country does not have an official language. Australian English variety. Australian English has several variations. Dialect subgroups. There are three main dialect of subgroups of Australian English. First, Standard Australian English. Second, Australian First Nation varieties of English. Third, ethnocultural Australian varieties of English. And Australian English has several accents. There are three main accent varieties of Australian English, include first broad, second general, and third cultivated.
Australian English. Australian English pronunciation. The general Australian English accent has distinct pronunciation feature that make it recognizable. It is often said to be a mixture of Standard British and Standard American, as it shares some similarities with both of these accents. A few of the most noticeable features of Australian English are as follows. Vowel sound. Australian English often uses long vowel sound like Standard British, but typically longer, meaning they are pronounced for a long duration. This often means that one syllable words can be lengthened to two syllables. Example, that is near is pronunciation more like near instead of near. To non-native speaker, this may sound quite exaggerated. First, long O sound. Also worth mentioning is the long O sound, as this is quite a unique sound and has now become somewhat of a meme on the internet. The Australian O sounds like a mixture between an A and A, with a hint of R. For example, the word no sounds more like nar. Second, long I sound. The long I word in words such as night and fine sounds more like a softer oi sound. For example, night and point. Third, long A sound. The long A in words such as safe and mate is more elongated and contains a stronger Y sound. So would sound more like A For example, safe and mate. Fourth, short A sound. The short A in words such as set and hand is pronounced a bit more like A. For example, set and hand. Australian English is non-rhotic, like standard British English, meaning when the R sound is in the middle of a word, it is not pronounced unless it is followed by a vowel sound. For example, heart is pronounced like heart. The R at the end of word is also not pronounced and make more of a schwa sound instead. For example, farmer is pronounced like farmer. General Australian English uses the tapped T similar to American English instead of pronouncing a hard T. A tapped T sound is made by the tongue quickly tapping behind the front teeth. For example, take the word butter. Instead of pronouncing a hard T, Australian English uses a softer sound similar to a D, that is butter. To strengthen this statement, we will see together the video.
So great to be here tonight. Hosting the season premiere of Saturday Night Live. And it's great to be here in America, which is why tonight. Now, some of you may know me from my movie Suicide Squad. Or from my new indie film, The Milliner's Daughter.
Okay, the next is stress intonation. Most varieties of English, including Australian English, are stress time. This means our stress pattern, emphasis placed on certain words or breaths in a sentence are evenly spaced out. Intonation, the way the voice rises or falls in the pitch in Australian English is generally quite flat, which is similar to standard British English. Australian English typically follow most British English grammar rule, which differs from American English. Spelling Australian English generally tends toward the British spelling of word instead of American. For example, color instead of color, analyze instead of analyze, irregular past tense or past participle. In both Australian and British English, the past participles of verbs such as smell, spell, and burn can be irregular. Smell, spell, and burn. American English, they would instead be smelled, spelled, and burned.
Verb argument with collective noun. In Australian and British English, a plural collective noun, example, audience, class, or crowd, or group, or team, can take either a singular or plural verb. For example, my family is kind, or my family are kind. The football team is handsome, or the football team are handsome. This differs from American English, which only uses the singular verb. Australian English word, as well as a distinct pronunciation. Australian English also uses its own slang word and phrases, something reference to as Australianism. Most of these will likely only be understood if you have an understanding of Australian English vocabulary or are aware of the context.
Okay, so the next one is there's a table of example of Australian English words and their meanings below. So there is Australian slang. The first word is bludger. The meaning of it is lazy, and the phonetic transcription is still the same, like bludger. And then the next one is a word of fair dinkum. Fair dinkum. It means good on you. It's spelled, there's a phone transcription, and then the word hard yaka. It's like hard yaka. It means hard work, and then there is thong. It means flip-flops or sandals. And then there is Barbie, means barbecue. And then there is Arvo, mean afternoon. Jack, funny person. Buck, poop. Danny, toilet. Shayla, woman or female. Guru, hello or goodbye. Shithouse is the toilet. So basically, Australian people using shorter terms, so it makes them communication faster. And then that is all we can present it. And thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.